Hello, let's quickly learn how to make a basic simple GUI app, a graphical user interface application in MATLAB. So we will be making something like this. We will have few buttons, a panel, and what we will basically be doing is we will browse an image and we will load it here. And then we will perform one image processing operation on it through this button, and we'll save it back in some other directory, right? The processed image. So let's quickly start it. Let's see how to do it. The very first step is to create a GUI project. So for that, you have to go to the command window of your MATLAB and type guide here, G-U-I-D-E, guide. Once you do that, something like this will open. So if you're working on some existing project, you can go in this tab, open existing GUI, and you can load whatever project you are working on. Like I was working on this project before, so I can load that. But right now, we are gonna create a new app, and we will write the code from scratch there. So choose this blank GUI template, this one, and then you can change the name or the path from here. I'm gonna change it to somewhere I've been working on, and let's say practice GUI. Let's say that. Save it, and then I'm gonna press OK. So now it should load. Yeah, so this is basically the figure or the graphic window where I will make my GUI, and this is the code which will which will be behind this graphical window. So I'm going to make different buttons and different objects here, and when I push those buttons, for example, the code behind the buttons will be written in this MATLAB file, practice.gui.m, right? So you need to get this concept first. All right, now let's start. First of all, let's see what we have here. So we have different, this is our toolbox. We have different buttons and panels and different options that we will be using, different tools that we will be using, and we will drag them from here and put them on our grid. Secondly, we have a properties window. So this is my grid. It will also have a property. So you have to right click and then go to property inspector. Once you do that, a property inspector will come like this, right? If you have ever worked on .NET, Windows Form programming, or even Android programming or iOS programming, it has something like this property window. It's similar to that, something like this. Anyway, first of all, let's change the name of the variable of this grid, right? So the name will be in tag. It says figure 1. So we're gonna name it main panel, right? And it also has another variable named as name, which will basically appear once this window will run. So let's find that. Yeah, right here. So let's say this is actually basically the title of your app. It's gonna come right here up there on the top. So you can name it to whatever you want. So let's say we name it to something like this, right? So you can write whatever name whatever title you want here. Okay, next thing is let's drag and drop a panel from here. So if you hover over there, you will see the name as well, right? So our panel is there. We're gonna drag and drop it and then change the size to whatever you want. Let's make it big so that our picture is big. I think it's big enough, right? Okay, now let's drag, and by the way, you can also use arrow keys to move it up and down wherever you want for precise movement, right? Okay, let's choose some buttons. So this is the push button that we need. This is actually a simple button. Push button means something, if you push this button, it will push once. You must have known the concept of push button in some electrical course. Okay, I think the size is enough. Should not make it much more big. Yeah. Okay, now again in the property window, First of all, let's change the name of this panel. So tag, let's call it image panel, and also let's remove this title here. We don't want that. So for that, there is a property of title here. Let's just write nothing here. We can also write an image here if you want. You can see the image that came here, but let's not do that. So where is title? Where is title? Sorry. Where is title? Here. So I'm just going to remove it altogether. And the next thing is button. So let's change the name of the button. And why are we changing the name? Because it's the variable that we need. We will be referring to it in our code, right? Here's the tag. So I'm going to call it btn, and let's call it browse, because we are going to use this button for browsing. And this is the string. This is what will appear on the button, right? So let's change it to browse, and you can see once I do that, it's going to change. It should change. Why is it not changing? Yeah, so it has changed. So it says browse now. By the way, you can do several other things if you want. For example, background color, you can change it. Let's do that as well. Let's choose purple. You can change the values of RGB here and make it to whatever you want. And I wanna lighten it a little bit. So let's say 0.33 and 0.33. Let's see what happens. Now it's not working. I want something light. That's not good enough. Let's choose this. No. Okay, let's choose this red color. It's not red, by the way. It's not mustard. So not even orange. I won't call it orange. It looks like orange, but it's not orange. It's some brownish something. Anyway, let's choose this. And I think there must be something for font. Yeah, font size. You don't like this? You want to change it? Let's do that if you don't like it. It's bigger now. Anyway, I'm going to copy it by Control C, and I'm going to make a copy by Control V, and another one with Control V. I think we should align them properly. Alright, now let's change the name of these two buttons and the text. So I'm going to use the second button for saving. So let's call it btn save, and I'm going to change the name to the name string to save, right? And the last button, by the way, I wanted to make it a toggle button, so let's delete it. Let's make another button, and I want to make a toggle button. So toggle button is something. By the way, I have another option. I can either drag and drop it from up there, and then do all the effort which I did on these buttons of changing the color and changing the font and everything and the size. And I have another option. I can just copy and paste it, and I can just change the type to toggle button, right? So you can see the style here. You can change it to toggle button. So now this is a toggle button. Toggle button means it has two states, on and off, 0 and 1, yes or no, whatever. So two states. And I'll show you why do I need this particular style. Why do I need toggle button? Just one more additional feature in our app. Okay, let's name it btn gray, and the string should be grayscaling or grayscale, whatever you want. Also, I'm going to change the color to something more good, something different, not gray. Let's make it light mustard. It's kind of mustard, it's not yellow. And let's change this color to this one. I don't know. You can make it more pretty. It doesn't look that pretty right now. And this font is going out of, it's touching the boundaries, so I don't like it. I'm gonna make it 12. Okay, now let's do the rest of the things. We need one more thing. We need an axis. So why do we need that, this axis? Because we have to display a picture. So this panel is just a container, and we need an axis to display a graph, a plot, or a picture, right? So let's line it neatly up there, and we can change the size. Go to the tag of this axis. Where is the tag? There it is. There it is. I'm gonna name it main axis, and let's also make it not visible at the beginning, right? So that's it. I think we are done. Let's run this app once and see what we have here. Yes, you want the changes to be made. See, this is your app. We have a button, browse. We have a button, save. It's a push button. You can see by their appearance. And this is a toggle button. So you can see once I pushed it, it's gone backwards. If I do that again like this, it has come back on the top. It's like a toggle button. You must have seen it in hardware or something as well. So it has two states, this and this, this and this. So once you push it, it's going to stay in that state. It's not going to come back like the push button. The push button comes back. Anyway, so this is our GUI, and these buttons are not working right now because we have not written the code behind them. So now let's do that. Let's write the code behind these buttons. To write the code behind this browse button, we have to search for the function, the callback function of this browse button. We will do that in our MATLAB file, which we made earlier, practicegui.m. And you can see there are three functions. They are automatically created when you pressed this green button here for running this your GUI app. These buttons, these functions for the buttons were automatically added. And now what we just have to do is we have to write the code here inside these functions. So for the browse button, we'll write the code for browse button in the callback function of browse here. Let's start. First of all, we need to open our window to browse an image, right? Let's write code for that. UI get file, and we're going to provide it with different extensions for which it's gonna search and show. PNG, let's add PNG. I've got a dot here. PNG, and we also, let's say, need, okay, I made a mistake. I have to write semicolon here. Okay, PNG dot tiff, and then let's provide it the next parameter that will be visible on top of our dialog box. You will see it soon, so you'll understand it better. Select an image, and that's it. So whatever image is selected, its path and its name, the file name, will be saved in these variables. Next, let's declare a global variable, image, img. We need a global variable because we are gonna work on this image, and we will save the same image using this button, and we will process on the same image using this button. So we need it globally. We can't just make a local variable here. Okay, so if path name is not equals to 0, right, it has something in it, then path equals to, let's concatenate both these. Path name will come first, p name will come first, and then f name, the file name, and that's it. Now let's read the image. You already know If you don't know the name of the function to read image, it's imRead. It's just gonna read an image from this path. So this path is actually the path of the image and the file name, the name of the image, both. And now let's get the size of the image, because I want to see if it's a grayscale image or a colored image. So I think you know that a grayscale image has one channel and colored image has three channels. Three channels for R, G, and B, right? Three channels, three colored channels, but for a grayscale it has one channel. So what I want to check is if it has three channels or one channel. If it has three, it means it's a colored image. If it has one channel, that means it's a grayscale image. And why I need that, let me show you. Okay, I can put a switch here. I can also put an if else. If you want that, you can just solve this with a switch, with an if else statement instead of switch. I'm gonna use switch for now. So case 1 means if this S has 1 value, that means it has one channel. If it means it has 3 value, that means it has 3 channels. If you're not familiar with this code, you can run it separately in another file, and you can see that when we check the size of an image and then we put 3 here, 3 means the third dimension of the image. So if an image, image has a resolution, a size, let's say 1920 by 1080. Let's say this is the size of an image, right? Let's say. So if it's grayscale image, the third channel is 1, right? So the third dimension of the image is 1. If it's a colored image, the third dimension is 3, right? So this is what I'm checking here. So I'm checking what is the value of the third dimension, if it's 1 or 3. That's what I'm doing. And you can run this code separately in another MATLAB file and understand it better. So if you already know that, do this. Otherwise, if you're not familiar with this, you can just skip this part of the code. You can just do it till here and few more things after this. So just skip these 3-4 lines, which I'm doing right now, if you don't understand them, if you don't have basics of image processing. Okay. So what I'm doing is, if it's a grayscale image, I'm gonna set that toggle button to disable. I want this button to be disabled if it's already a grayscale image, because if it is a grayscale image, we should not perform grayscaling on it. It's already done, right? That makes sense. So if it's already a grayscale image, we should not push this button. So this button will be turned off. That's what I'm doing here. So set handles dot btn. What was the name of the button? Btn gray, right? Btn gray, and I'm gonna set its enable property to off. By the way, this enable property is right here. If you select this button, go to the property menu, there is a property named as enable here. There. So we are actually just changing this property from the code. You can change any other property if you want, like this, right? So I'm gonna change it to off, and I'm gonna close the button. Close the parentheses of the function, and we can write otherwise in the switch, and again set. Just copy this whole line and set it to on. All right, that's it. Just gonna end it. And the switch statement. So if you are not familiar with image processing, just skip these 5-6 lines, these lines. These are 7 lines, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. Just skip these lines and do the remaining of the part. Okay, now what we want is, we want to display that picture on our axis. So for that, we write axis handles dot the name of the axis. What was the name of the axis? Main axis, right? And just put semicolon here. And show image. That's it. We're gonna end the function. We're gonna end this if statement. The function is automatically end here. And that's the code for our first function. Let's write the code for the second function. The second function is save. Let's write code for saving. Okay, so again, to save we have to first browse, and then we will save an image. Before that, I need a global variable, that same global variable. This is the syntax, by the way. In Python, you do that as well. If you declare a global variable, you have to declare it with a global keyword every time in some scope you're going to use it, right? That's why I'm writing it again. It's the same variable. This img is the same as this one. So global image, and then we have to write the file name and path name as well. File name. These variables are different from the one in the previous function, obviously. UI put file, this is the function, right? Previously we used UI get file when we were browsing and loading a file. Right now we are writing the file, so we have to use UI put file. And again, so .jpg, and then one more thing, comma, .png, if path name is not equals to 0, path is equals to, this is the path actually which the user is selecting to save the file. This is the different path. This is the path for saving the file, not loading it. And then just simply write I am right img, the name of your image, and the path, and then end it. That's it. That's the code for the saving button. Now let's write the code for grayscaling. Let's grayscale the image. Again, we need a global variable img, the same variable, and now we need the value of the toggle button. If its state is turned on, then we will grayscale it. If it's not, if it's disabled, we won't grayscale it, because in that case the image is already converted to grayscale. So to get the value, get handles dot btn gray, comma, the value, v is capital, value then if value equals to 1, img equals to RGB, the famous function of conversion to grayscale, RGB to gray, img, that's it, else so if it's not already if it's already gray, the value is already the value is already turned off, right? Let's just disable it. And then once you have done the operation, once you have converted it, or not converted it, we are just going to display it. No. We need the main axis here. what was the name of the axis? Main axis. We need to show the image there, the processed image. That's it. That's the code for grayscaling. All right, let's run and see what happens. Okay, let's press browse. Cool, that works. So we can browse any location on our system. I'm going to choose this location, and first of all, let's browse a colored image. Let's see the result on a colored image. So this is a colored image. I'm going to open it. That's nice. It's displayed here. By the way, this is my turtle, Tori. That's our picture. Let's convert it to grayscale now. And you can see, because since this is a colored image, this button is not turned off. It's on. So we can press it. So let's press it. There you go. It's converted to grayscale. That's so cool. And let's again save it. Alright, there is some problem in our saving code. Something is wrong. We'll see that. One more thing. Let's press this grayscaling button again. See, it's disabled now. You can't do it anymore. It's disabled. And why is that? Because we wrote this code here. Right? Okay, let me see what is the error or the issue with the saving code. So I must have forgotten something. Yes, I think, yeah, I was supposed to put semicolon here, not commas. Where is the code? There it is. Let's change these semicolons here. And let's try it again. You can run it from here and there as well. Okay, browse. Let's load the same image. Cool. Let's convert it to grayscale. Nice. And let's save it. Nice, that works now. I'm gonna save it in the same place. So what should you call it? Let's call it converted image. Image ing. Let's do that. And you have different extensions. All those extensions which we wrote there, right? Let's save it. Let's see if it's actually saved there. There you go. This is the image. So it's saved. Nice. So it's working. You press it again, it's gonna convert. It's gonna disable. Okay, let's load a already converted image, a grayscale image. Let's do that. For that, I downloaded this image from internet. Let's use this. You see, this is already disabled. That's so cool. Let's do it once more. For the image we just saved, this one, the converted image, we just saved it. Nice. See, it's disabled. So that's it, guys. That's your GUI app. I hope you understood the code and the concept. If you have any questions, do let me know. You can ask them. Bye bye for now.